Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick, and this time round we're going to be looking at the top 10 Commodore Amiga greatest chase view racers of all time. Now this is based on my opinions, of course, so if your personal favourite isn't included, don't go crazy mad like some insane nincompoop, then put your selection in the comment section below. Now when we say chase view, this includes any racers where you've got an external view from behind the car or vehicle, so it won't include cockpit racers like Microprose Grand Prix, Stunt Car Racer and the like, so it's one's a bit like Chase HQ, although Chase HQ hasn't made the list. Okay, so let's get started. And at number 10, drifting in just, is Buggy Boy, published by Elite in 1988. Based on the arcade version by Taito and Data East from 1985. Said to be better than on the Commodore 64, but I did like it on the Commodore Amiga. You must drive around 5 courses in the shortest possible time. There's obstacles to avoid, like boulders, brick walls and fences, and hitting logs you can jump over them. Getting through gates and flags for extra points, but it's a really nice game, quite cute. On the Spectrum version the car was a bit too big, so I love playing it on the Commodore Amiga. You can go into the water there and the thing will absolutely sink, but nice and gentle arcadey game, a real nice conversion. Really like this one, so pleasure to drift it in 10th place, because there was a bit of competition for 10th because there's so many of these chase view racers on this computer. Let me know if you differ from any of these in the top 10, but I think you might be able to predict number 1 already, maybe. RVF Honda in number 9 by Microstyle in 1990. It's a championship series over for superbikes. We must go from Clubman Championship up to International by going up the ranks. Each championship is over 8 different tracks. Unfortunately, there's only an option for manual gears only, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Fantastic engine sounds in this game, that's why it makes 9th place, and there's a few motorbiking games in this top 10. Takes a while to get used to it. The trees look a little bit like Lego, but I let it go for there. You can do, believe it or not, a 2-player mode if you have a link cable between Amigas, which some people had at the time. I never did. But it's quite an interesting game. I wouldn't be too disappointed if I bought this back in the day, so well worthy of 9th place. That is RVF Honda. In 8th place, the granddaddy of them all, Super Hang-On, published by Electric Dreams in 1988. Of course, based on the arcade cabinet from Sega in 1987. There's 4 different tracks to race on based on ability, difficulty, and they're all around different continents. There's a timer, so you have to get through different checkpoints before the time runs out. Really fast this game, really retro. If you hit top speed, you can hit a boost on the fire button. The easiest stage is Africa, over 6 stages, and the scenery does change as you go through some of the checkpoints at least. Really nice this game. I played it for many hours back in the day. Slightly easy on some other versions. The Amiga is a little bit difficult, but will keep you coming back. It gives you a real sense of the arcades. Never really completed any difficulty setting, unfortunately, but it didn't stop me playing it over and over again. Another good motorcycle racer. In 7th is Road Rash by Electronic Arts in 1992. Different from any of the others on the list because it's actually a racing combat game where you can kick and punch people off the bikes. You compete in a series of illegal road races. By finishing in the top 3, you get different amounts of money which you can use to buy faster bikes, upgrades and repair your bike. You can also fall off if punched and you have to run alongside the bike and then jump back on it again. By collecting the money, you can pay police fines if you're arrested. If you run out of money, eventually the game will be over. There's traffic there. The controls do feel a little bit slippery, but I just love the whole concept of it. Been a few different Road Rash games, not necessarily on the Commodore Amiga, but really good fun. It's pretty basic, really, when you look at it nowadays, but for the sheer fun factor and the hilarity of the thing, I've put it into 7th place, ahead of Super Hang-On, so that might be a bit controversial. In 6th place, a game I've come to quite lately when I've been reviewing games, is a Prime Mover by Psygnosis in 1993. The viewpoint is a little bit low, making it a bit tricky, and the controls are a little bit slippery, but I put it here just because the sheer speed of the thing is pretty much going almost as fast as the Lotus games. You can unlock 5 different bikes with different speeds and handling properties. There's national anthems that play between each race, which is quite a nice touch. Championships last from 12 races where you're against 7 other riders. It's very arcadey this. It's not possible to fall off the bike. If you crash into the scenery, you just lose a bit of time. So it's all about winning races, getting points and winning the championship. And that's pretty much it really. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I quite like it. Takes a bit of getting used to with the different handling of the different bikes. But as I say, it wins for me just for the sheer speed of the thing and the smoothness of it. Frame rate is absolutely fantastic. In 5th place, we've got Crazy Cars 3 by Titus Software in 1992. Known on other systems as Lamborghini American Challenge, heaps better than Crazy Cars 1 and Crazy Cars 2, which are absolutely abysmal, so this is a welcome sight. Really nice frame rate, really quick in speed as well. You compete in illegal highway challenges across the USA in order to make your fortune as you drive this Lamborghini Diablo. You start off in Division 4, must work your way up. You can gamble on the results of races to get extra money and then get different upgrades as well. You select your races by our map here, your location and who you're racing against. But compared to Crazy Cars 1 and 2, this is in a whole different area really. Really pleasant to play. And we'll be coming up to other better races than this as top 10s go, but this is a big uplift on what was going before in the Crazy Cars series. So well done to Titus Software, you got it eventually. In 4th place, a lot of people will have this first. It's Jaguar XJ220 by Core Design in 1992. Moves really fast, got great reviews at the day. Some people, or some magazines said it was the best racer of all time, but I've got it in 4th. You compete in a series of championship races across 12 different countries. There's 3 races in each country. You've got different environments as well. There's 1 and 2 player modes and also a track editor to stop you getting bored. You can sit down and edit your own tracks, which is always pretty good. Jaguar XJ220, Lotus was very popular at this time, so trying to cash into that, and it plays very similar to that one, so not much originality there, but what there was there they pushed as far as they could possibly go. So well done for Core Design for giving us at least some choice in the matter. Some people would have played this to death. I think I would have played all the tracks, I think, right until the end. In 3rd place, Lotus 3, The Ultimate Challenge by Gremlin Graphics in 1992. It didn't offer a great deal more over the game that come before, Lotus 2. If this was released nowadays, it'd probably be a DLC rather than a game in its own right. It gave you additional tracks to play on. There's 3 selectable Lotus cars where the previous game just had alternating 2. Championship racing or time stages are there. It's got a rec system, which is a racing environment construction set for again designing your own tracks. I would have had this in first, it offered a great deal more over Lotus 2, but really it was just an add-on rather than anything else. So I was slightly disappointed at the time, but if you're looking for arcade-style chase you racing games, you can't go wrong with this. This offers absolutely everything. We're here on the future track, but it just gives you as much as it possibly could. Some of the sound bits in Lotus 2 are gone, but yeah, you can't argue with the quality of Gremlin graphics. Lotus ESPRIT Turbo Challenge was a big step up at the time in racing games on the Amiga. This was in 1990, the start of the Lotus trilogy. 32 racetracks, 3 difficulty modes, and it's extremely fast. Lots of different undulation. There's 2 players there. Unfortunately, if the second player weren't there, as you can see on this graphic, you just use half the screen, but that was okay back in the time. There's pit stops, 19 additional, computer-controlled opponents. You must come in the top 10 to qualify for the next race. And there's fictional driver names as well, like Nigel Mansell and Alan Phosphate. So if you had this back in the day, you would have played a lot with a friend. A really seminal game, a huge leap forward. If you had a Commodore Amiga, you had to have this game. It was the be-all and end-all. It's absolutely awesome. So that's why I've got it in a glorious 2nd place. Hooray! And in first place, top of the shop, as you might have guessed in advance, is Lotus Turbo Challenge 2, the sequel to that original game, again by Gremlin Graphics in 1991. It's course-based instead of laps, and there's time stages. There's a few complaints at the time that it lost the championship there, but as arcade racers go, this is fantastic. You don't lose too much time compared to its predecessor. If you hit the scenery, you just bounce off and lose a bit of speed, but the jeopardy is still there as the time ticks down before you get to the next checkpoint. There's no refueling. No, that was back for Lotus 3. There's a choice of 2 cars, which, well, it's not really a choice, it's alternated. The cars in the previous game were all white. This time they're different colours. You don't have to start from the start again if you fail to qualify, because it does give you a password between each changing environment. A highway section, it said yeehaw when you went over under trucks, and there's lots of other good bits as well. So this for me is my favourite Chase View Amiga game of all time, Lotus Turbo Challenge 2. Now, I hope you like watching that one. Always a little bit controversial when you look at top 10, because they are very, very personal, based on nostalgia. If you've got any games there that should have been included that weren't there, then please put it below. Any faults, retroing or otherwise, then I would love to hear from you. Until next time, hope you enjoyed watching the video. Take great care of yourself, and are very fond. Goodbye.
Goodbye.